Today we're doing Math 6, Mission 3, Lesson 3, measuring with different sized units. All right, warm up. Does it take more black rods or gray rods lined up end to end to measure the width of this piece of printer paper? Well, it's going to take more of our black rods because the rods are shorter, right? The shorter the amount, the more it'll take, right? Like this. If they're shorter, it's going to take more to go that width. So the black rods will take more space, so that you'll need more of them. Less space, so you'll need more of them. All right, activity 1. You will work with different units of measure at 5 different stations. I'm just going to go through the stations with you. Okay, station 1. Each large cube is 1 cubic inch. Count how many cubic inches to completely pack the box without gaps. So a cubic inch is going to look something like this. Whereas a cubic centimeter is going to look more like this. So if I have 16 cubic inches, cubes that are this big, I would expect this one to be much larger because they're a smaller cube. So the smaller cube is going to take up less space. Just like up here, our black rod is we're going to need more of them because it takes up less space. So if we were doing 16 cubic inches, then it's going to take about 250 cubic centimeters. So do you see, the larger it is, the less we need. The smaller it is, the more we need. Okay? Okay, so then in station 2, it says use the meter stick to measure the length to the nearest meter, then use a ruler to measure the length to the nearest foot. So again, whatever it is, if we're measuring the table, if we're measuring from one side of the room to the other, a meter stick is going to be a lot bigger. So let's say it's 6 meters, right? Obviously, I can't show that to you, but let's say that's a meter, right? A foot is going to be about that far. So meters are bigger. That means you need less of them. Feet are smaller. That means you need more. So this is bigger. And this is smaller. So there are about 3 feet in a meter. It's not exact. It's not 3 feet, but it's about 3 feet. So if I'm going to say that, 3 times 6 would be 18. Well, there's actually 20 feet in 6 meters. Okay? So you can see we need more feet because it's smaller. All right, let's look at station 3. Count how many times you can fill the quart bottle from the gallon jug. We have a video that we're going to watch, okay? So let me go to that video. There it is. Here we go. Just watch this video. So here's the blue gallon jug. And these that they're filling right now are quarts. So how many gallons or how many quarts does it take to have a gallon? So you can see they're trying not to spill it. All right, hopefully it'll go faster now. So we have 1 quart filled. Oh, here we go. We're speeding up. There's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. So you can see that the gallon filled the 4 quarts evenly. All right, now how about liters? So again, we have a gallon, and these are now liter bottles, not quart bottles. So there's 1, 2, 3, and not quite 4. So which one do you think is bigger, the liter or the quart? The quart was all the way filled, whereas the liter, we still have some left over. So if I'm going to go here, how many gallons of water? How many quarts are in a gallon of water? Well, 4 quarts are in a gallon. How many liters? Well, we have probably 3 2/3 or 3 3/4, right? We didn't fill up all 4 liter bottles. That means liters are liters are bigger, so they take less. Quarts are smaller, so they take more, right? So this is smaller and this is larger. Okay? Because remember, the larger the unit is, the less we need. Okay, let's do station 4. Select 2 to 3 different objects to measure on the scale. So we're doing ounces, pounds, grams, and kilograms. All right, so we have a scale here. Oops, let's go right here. So let's choose a cell phone. So kilograms, I'm just going to write this off to the side right now, and then we will fill it in later. So we have ounces, pounds, grams, and kilograms. So in kilograms, the cell phone weighs 0.155, okay? Or 155 thousandths. Let's look at grams. Grams, it weighs 155 grams. Let's try pounds. Pounds, it weighs, 34172. 0.34172, and in ounces, it weighs 5.4675. All right, so that's for a cell phone. So we're going to go back here. Object 1 is our cell phone. So in ounces, it was 5.4675. For pounds, it was 0.34172. Grams, it was 155, and kilograms, it was 0.155. Okay. Now let's go pick object 2. All right, we're not going to do a cell phone. Let's do a pencil. In ounces, a pencil is 0.31747. In pounds, it's 0.019842. In grams, it's 9 grams. And in kilograms, it's 0.009 thousandths. All right, let's go write that in. So here we have ounces as 0.31747. Pounds is 0.019842. Grams is 9, and kilograms is 9 thousandths. So what you're understanding is ounces is a smaller unit than pounds, and grams is a smaller unit than kilograms. Right? Pounds is a smaller unit than kilograms even. Because this goes to the hundredths, but this only starts in the thousandths. All right, let's do one more together. Let's do a big one. Let's do a microwave. Whew! Kilograms is 18.144. Grams, 18,144. Pounds, we have 40 pounds. And ounces, we have 640 ounces. All right, here we go. So for ounces, we have 640. Pounds, we have 40. Grams, we have 18,144. And in kilograms, we have 18 and 144 thousandths. So this helps us to clearly see our biggest unit of measure is kilograms. Right? So this is 1. Then the next one is pounds. Then the next one is ounces. And the smallest is grams. All right, so millimeters and teaspoons. Okay, so if I have 20 millimeters of salt, right, that gets me 4 teaspoons. So if I have 40 milliliters of salt, how many teaspoons do you think I'm going to have? Well, to go from 20 to 40, that's multiplying by 2, so I should do the same here. So 4 times 2 is 8, and we do get 8 teaspoons. So how do we get to 50? Well, we can go down to 10, which is dividing in half. So we would have to divide in half here, which would get me 2. And then how do we get from 10 to 50? Well, we multiply by 5. So we're going to do that to the 2, multiply by 5. 2 times 5 is 10. So we have, and we do get 10 teaspoons. All right, so after you finish all 5 stations, answer the question. Which is larger, a cubic inch or a cubic centimeter? Well, because we used less inches, an inch is bigger. Did more cubic inches or cubic centimeters fit in the cardboard box? Well, cubic centimeters because it's smaller. It's the smaller measurement. Did it take more feet or meters to measure? It took more feet. Why? Because feet are smaller than meters. Which is larger, a quart or a liter? A liter because it didn't take, or the same amount of water did not fill all 4 quarts, or all 4 liters. We did put the weight and mass in order from smallest to largest. So, well, we did largest to smallest. The smallest would be grams, then ounces, then pounds, then kilograms. About how many teaspoons of salt would it take to fill the graduated cylinder to 100 milliliters? Well, let's go back up here. If we have 10 milliliters, how do we get to 100? Well, if we have 50, 50 times 2 gets us 100, so 10 times 2 is 20. So that would take us 20 teaspoons. If you poured 15 teaspoons of salt into an empty graduated cylinder, how many milliliters would it fill? Well, I have 10 here, and I need 5. So half of that would be, half of 10 is 5. So half of 50 is 25. So I would have to add 50 plus 25, which is 75. So 75 milliliters. How many milliliters per teaspoon are there? Ooh, millimeters per teaspoon. So I would have to divide this in half again. 2 down to 1, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 5 milliliters. How many teaspoons per milliliter? So we want to go to 1 milliliter. Well, I would have to divide 1 by 5, which would look like this, 1 divided by 5. So we would have 1/5 of a teaspoon. All right, make sure you go through your lesson summary.